Hey everyone, Tasty Tuesday, and guess what? I'm coming to you today from the Airbnb we're staying in Palm Desert, California. And it's a very small kitchen, but we're gonna make it work today. And today we are traveling to Japan and I'm making ramen. Ramen soup is one of my favorite soups. I like it more than pho. I like it more than any other Asian soup. It's always been my favorite. And as we travel around, I try to taste different ramens in different places around the world. The weird thing is, the best ramen I ever had was actually in Sacramento, California. It wasn't even in Japan. But I try to replicate that ramen that I love so much in Sacramento, California. So, from Palm Desert, California, we're going to talk a little bit about how to simply make ramen. It seems complicated, it's really not, so let's get started. First of all, let me tell you that last night, we don't have an oven in this Airbnb, but we do have a toaster oven. And last night, I baked in the toaster oven a pork tenderloin, and I had marinated it for an hour in some soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, garlic, and green onions. And then I baked it at 350 for about 35 minutes. And so then I put it in the fridge so it's ready to go today. The other thing I did earlier was I made soft-boiled eggs. Some people in certain countries call a soft-boiled egg a 6-minute egg. It's the same thing. I have that in an ice bath right now, and I'm going to peel that in a few minutes. That gets nestled along with the pork at the top of the ramen. So the first thing we're going to do is light our stove here. In this pot, I have 6 cups of store-bought chicken stock. And to that, I am adding 3 minced garlic cloves, about 1.5 inches of fresh ginger that I also minced. I have some salt in here, a teaspoon of red chili flakes, and I also added a little bit of truffle grains that I have because the ramen I have in Sacramento always has a little bit of truffle oil poured on it, and I don't have truffle oil with me, so I'm going to just try that today and see how that works. So this is all going into the broth. Ooh, I can smell the truffle, which is good. Then we are also adding 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And now that is going to come to a boil, and I'm going to reduce it just a little bit and simmer it for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you what's next. So our broth has been simmering, covered, for about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit more than that. And now on simmer still, I am adding 3 cups of greens. I have a variety of greens here that we actually picked out of our garden here in Palm Desert. I have kale, I have some bok choy, I have spinach. You can use any kind of greens you want, any kind of Asian greens, or just all spinach if you want. So that is going in, and it's going to just blanch for about 2 minutes. So the greens have been blanching for about 2 minutes, not very long at all. I'm removing them to a colander. Ooh, they smell good. And the reason you want to blanch them, you know, blanching keeps the beautiful green color. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, now into this same pot of broth, I'm going to turn the heat back up, and we are going to boil our noodles. Now, your This is ramen. You can use regular curly ramen noodles if you'd like, but I am, again, trying to replicate the ramen I had in Sacramento, where they used more of a thick Japanese noodle like an udon. So I have 5 ounces of noodles that are going in, and I have 4 ounces of sliced up shiitake mushrooms. That's all going into the pot now. I'm going to set my greens aside for a few minutes. We'll come back to that. And this is going to cook probably 5, maybe 7 minutes, just enough to get the noodles cooked. And then I'll come back and we're almost done. So doesn't that look yummy? That is our noodles and our broth and our mushrooms, and we are pretty much done now. And I have these giant bowls for our ramen, and I'm going to show you how to plate it. And again, since this isn't my kitchen, I'm kind of having to make do. So let's see if we can get the noodles in this beautiful bowl. Oh yeah, and we want to make sure we get some shiitake mushrooms. Okay, and I'm going to add broth. This is going to be amazing. Now, to that, we are adding 4 slices of, can you see it? 4 slices of pork, the beautiful greens, which really we have plenty of those. That's going to be a really nice addition. And now, I forgot to grab a knife. I'm going to put the 2 soft cooked eggs, which I've had sitting in about a teaspoon of sesame oil. I'm going to cut them in half, and you can see that lovely velvety inside. That is going to nestle down in here. I'm putting in a few radishes and topping it with a little bit of cilantro and sliced green onion. Now, if I had some basil, I might put that in there too. And then the last thing is I'm going to drizzle some sesame seed oil on the top, sesame oil, and that is a beautiful dish. Japanese ramen, super easy. You can even make it in a kitchen that is super tiny and doesn't have all of the regular accessories. Japanese ramen. For today's Tasty Tuesday, we'll see you next week.